Morning tubers, it's the time. That's the temp in here, and yeah, that is on. I gotta get it up a little about 65 for the contact cement to work. I'm gonna refelt this, even though leave this on, and the reason being is, see where it pulled away. So we did get the piano hinge, and you can see right here where it was mortised in. So that's been done. Cutting out the strips. I did get the original morning tubers. We'll try this again. I started this morning at around 8 o'clock and the battery was dead. It started, probably got about maybe 3 minutes of video in and it died. So there's the time. That's the temp. Yep, that's going on. It's keeping the garage nice and toasty warm. I went ahead and started going. We put a second coat of felt on the top. Now we're starting to underside it. Put 5 coats of teak oil. That's what's in the mixing cup here. And once we get 5 coats on, then we'll flip it over. Do 5 coats on the top instead of the side. The bottom is sitting here, and we still got to clean it, and still kicking around if I want to felt again on this side alone, but I don't know yet. Oop, clock's going off. But haven't done anything on the car. Well, hold it, scratch that. I did do something. I had to run the DMV yesterday, and because of issues on the title, and got that straightened around. But while I was there, the guy who I was at the counter with, we both knew he works part-time for Freakling Brothers, and Duke owns Freakling Brothers, and I had a lot of meetings with Duke, let's say when I was a plans examiner for the city of Henderson before becoming a fire inspector, and on his haunted house. He does haunted house attractions. And this guy knew Duke, and we were talking and having a good old time. And next thing I know, I went ahead and I registered it. Yep, there's insurance. It's got full registration. It's legal to drive on the street. So, except for no windshield or rear windows or side windows, and no headlights, but I can pull it out and cruise around the block and not have to worry. I do have brake lights. I don't have turn signals because we're still dealing with LEDs for the front, but I thought that was quite unique. Registration, I'm limited to 5,000 miles a year, which I have no problem with. You can get old-timer plates or classic car plates, and I chose the old-timer plates. And so, like I said, maximum 5,000 miles a year. You have to go into DMV and register the vehicle each year. You can't go to the kiosk and just sit there and get your new sticker. So that's where we're at on that. Not going to work on the car. I'm coming down the end on the jewelry box. There was a lot to do. The old 40-some-odd-year-old hardware gave up the ghost, so we had to, I went to get a piano hinge and then trying to find one of those around town. Just a simple 12-inch 1 1/16 piano hinge was yuck. So we finally found one of those, and so then I mortised it in here on the top, as you can see. And I didn't do it on the bottom, excuse me, on the base, but I didn't do it on the top, because it didn't need it on the top. The base it did. But as this stuff dries, they said after 5 coats of this on here, it'll give it a shine like if you were to coat the thing in lacquer. But it takes 20 minutes to a half hour for this thing to soak up the oil. And considering my mom probably never oiled it in the 40-plus years she had it, I think this thing's going to be quite dry and really start sucking it up. So once I get underside of the top done with 5 coats, We'll flip it over, do that, set this aside, we'll pull the base back out. I should start cleaning the drawer, and I could start coating that, and we'll do that, and keep moving on. The only thing left to put on would be the chain to hold the top from tilting all the way back, hold it up to where the girls can see the mirror, and that's just held on with Velcro tabs. So, and then continue on finishing this thing up in final assembly. Once it's done, I still got probably about 2 weeks before I go. If I get this done, get it set aside to where I'm happy with it, we're going to get Pat up here and we're going to put the rear glass in. So when I get more, I'll turn this back on later. Hey tubers, this top has the second coat of oil on it. Figured for 40 some odd year old wood it'd sit there and suck it up, but boy, it's sure taking its time. The drawer has its first coat. I turned the base over, and I mixed up some 5-minute epoxy and ran it around each one of the legs. Don't tell what those girls are going to do with this thing. And then I put some epoxied some felt tips on there so it wouldn't scratch up, and I'll take a razor blade and I'll trim them down to the size of the legs. So we got that. Also washed the whole base, so the whole base is washed. So as soon as this is done, in the one side of the base, I'm going to lay one more piece of felt down and glue it down. And didn't like the way the one that's in there now. And then we'll flip it over and it'll join everybody on the towel for getting coats of oil on it. This process will probably take 2 to 3 days because of the amount of drying time it takes in between. Now you can see this here is pretty well soaked up the oil, but you can still see here on the front of it, it hasn't yet. It's not still. So like I said, it's going to take some time as you sit there and apply, let it soak up, and they said that, and that's exactly what they said to do. And so I'm in no hurry. We're down in the final stretch of this. I could possibly have this done by next week, Tuesday or Wednesday, and I'll be happy because then I can get back on this. It would be great if I get this back window set and the chrome trim going around, or the stainless trim going around it and everything else before we head for Dallas. But that's where we're at right now. When I get more, I'll turn it back on later. Hey tubers, I bet you can tell what my afternoon's going to be like. Put a coat of oil on, go sit for a couple hours, come back, put a coat of oil on, go sit for a couple hours. And I still haven't done the top of the top. Okay, this is all the underside. So that's where it's at. That's what I'm doing. So I'll come out here and check it and watch football and drink some beer and come out and check it. And that's basically what I'm going to be doing in the afternoon. So we're going to end this here. And I want to thank everybody for watching, subscribing, and of course leaving comments. And hopefully next Saturday we're going to be putting this window in, because I know that should be done by then. The only thing left to do is, like I said, the chain for the top, and that goes from here up to the top, so when the top's open it doesn't pull the whole thing over. So, and then just screwing it all back together. So that's where I'm at. Thanks guys. Pick you up on the next one. Later.